What if the most powerful technology you'll ever own is your soul, and someone taught you to ignore its 10 built-in superpowers? If you've ever felt flashes of insight, waves of compassion, or a sudden inner strength you can't quite explain, you've already touched the edges of these powers. Today, we're going to map them with the tree of life, so you can recognize them, awaken them, and live with clarity, purpose, and a real closeness to the Creator. Your soul expresses itself through 10 distinct powers. Think of them as channels where the divine pours into your life. 2 are transcendent, delight and will, vast, overarching currents that sit above your conscious mind. The other 8 are the particular powers you can feel and train, 3 intellectual, then 7 emotional. Together they mirror 10 divine emanations that shape reality and also live inside you. When you know what each one feels like and how it functions, you stop guessing about who you are, and you start steering your inner world with wisdom. We begin at the top of the mind with creative insight. This first power often arrives like a lightning flash. You're not researching, you're not grinding. A shape of truth simply illuminates your inner sky. It's there and gone, but it leaves a glow. The Book of Job hints at this when it suggests wisdom emerges from a kind of nothingness, an emptiness beyond what we can plan. Insight isn't chaos, it's grace, and it's most available when you're quietly aligned, when your ego softens, not into low self-esteem, but into honest humility before the one who fills everything. In that openness, you receive flashes you could never force by effort alone. Yet, a flash isn't a map. The second intellectual power is understanding. This is where you take that spark and give it form. You define it, structure it, and test it. You explain it so clearly that even a friend could understand. If you can't say what something is, you don't truly grasp it yet. Understanding is patient architecture, moving from outline to blueprint, from blueprint to model. It's also the capacity to reason outward, induction and deduction, carrying the essence of what you've learned into other questions, other fields, other decisions. Without this power, spiritual ideas stay blurry. With it, your inner world gains sharp edges and bright detail. The third power of the mind is knowledge, but not as in memorizing facts. Knowledge here means bonding. It's the ability to harmonize what seems opposite, to hold paradox without losing truth. There are 2 levels. At the higher level, knowledge unites the flash of insight with the structure of understanding, fusing them into one coherent knowing that feels simple and luminous. At the practical level, knowledge ties the head to the heart. It takes what you know is true and connects it to what you actually feel and do. That bridge is maturity. Some people lean so hard on logic that their emotions wither. Others are all emotion with little reason. Knowledge binds wisdom to feeling, so your head and heart move in step. When they do, your courage steadies, your compassion sharpens, and your decisions become both kind and clear. Now the 7 emotional powers, where your inner life becomes kinetic. First is loving kindness. It's the generous surge to give, to nourish, to overflow. Spiritually, it's the wellspring that feeds everything that follows. Think of Abraham as the archetype, a life turned outward, offering warmth and welcome. Loving kindness doesn't mean naivety. It's not opening your doors without wisdom or pouring until you're empty. It's the trained willingness to step past ego and become a channel of abundance. If you feel stalled in emotional growth, often it's this first step that needs attention. Reigniting the desire to bless, to include, to expand. Second is strength. Discipline, boundaries, brave judgment. At first it may sound harsh, but well-used strength is mercy in action. There's an old saying, whoever pities the cruel will end up cruel to the kind. Strength filters loving kindness so it lands where it helps rather than harms. It asks the right questions. Will this truly heal? Is this fair? Is my yes wise? This same power also fuels courage when justice is denied. It rises to defend, to protect, to act. In practice, you're learning the sweet spot where generosity remains generous because it's guided by truth. Third comes beauty, compassion that blends the best of giving and the best of restraint. Where loving kindness says yes and strength says wait, beauty listens all the way through and then chooses mercy that's faithful to truth. It's called beauty because harmony is beautiful. Not light against shadow, but light that knows where to shine. If Abraham symbolizes loving kindness and Isaac symbolizes discipline, beauty is Jacob, the path of truth that integrates both. In you, this power feels like a centered heart, tender but not permissive, principled but not cold, radiant and real. Fourth is victory. It means initiative, persistence, and orchestration. Victory is the will to move first, to take the hill, start the conversation, write the page, make the call. But it also knows that real victories take time. It holds steady through the second wind, the fifth draft, the 17th attempt, and it conducts the whole effort like a maestro, aligning people, steps, and resources toward a meaningful aim. If your mind fills with negative loops, this is the power to train. Victory thrives on purpose. When you know you're serving what is good and aligned with the Creator's will, your thoughts clean up, your spine straightens, and your effort becomes music. Fifth is splendor, humble recognition, gratitude, and the glow that comes from acknowledging grace. Victory drives forward, splendor turns and bows. It says, I worked hard, but look how much was given. It watches doors open, timing align, and unlikely help appear, and it refuses the illusion of self-sufficiency. In the ancient map, victory and splendor are like twins. Push and praise, effort and thankfulness. Together they keep you fierce without arrogance and grateful without passivity. Sixth is foundation, the gathering point that channels all your emotions into connection and purpose. Foundation is where love, restraint, compassion, initiative, and gratitude fuse into real relationship. Between you and others, between body and soul, between the material and the sacred. Here you learn to elevate instincts rather than be owned by them. Desire becomes devotion, attraction becomes covenant. The same energy that could unravel a life becomes the energy that builds a family, creates beauty, and sanctifies the everyday. Foundation is emotional integrity turned into faithful bond. Seventh is kingship. Paradoxically, this is the power of receiving the divine yoke and by that very humility becoming regal. Kingship is where everything descends from theory into action. It's the steadiness to embody what you believe, to serve as a conduit so the world around you feels more just, more kind, more luminous because you are there. You don't crown yourself, you accept responsibility. And in that acceptance, you act with authority. Not the brittle kind that demands, but the quiet kind that directs and protects. Kingship gathers all the powers, mind and heart, and makes them visible in deeds. You might be wondering, where do those two transcendent powers, delight and will, fit in? Think of them as the atmosphere around everything we've named. Delight is the subtle joy of alignment, the inward sweetness of being where you're meant to be. Will is the overarching intention that leans you toward the good. Most days, you'll work with the 8 particular powers you can feel and train. But as you cultivate humility, truth, and action, delight and will begin to glow through everything. If you've heard echoes of the Tree of Life, the 10 divine emanations, you're right. These 10 channels aren't just cosmic architecture, they are the contours of your inner life. Wisdom flashes, understanding builds, knowledge bonds. Loving kindness pours, strength clarifies, beauty harmonizes, victory advances, splendor bows, foundation connects, kingship embodies. This is how the infinite touches your finite day. Quick check-in for your own map. Do you recognize your flashes of insight and give them space? Do you carve structure around them so they can live? Do you bond what you know to what you feel so you actually change? In your giving, do you also guard? In your guarding, do you keep a heart for mercy? Do you start and persist? Do you work and give thanks? Do you commit your energy to covenant, channeling rather than scattering? And finally, do you bring it all down into action, accepting the responsibility to make your corner of the world a home for goodness? Before we go deeper, I'd love to hear from you. Which of these 10 powers feels strongest in you right now? And which one needs training? Drop your answer in the comments. If this map is giving you clarity, tap like so more people can find it, and subscribe for upcoming deep dives where we'll practice simple exercises to awaken each power. Now let's ground this in daily life with a few brief illustrations. Insight might strike in the shower, a solution to a problem that's been stuck for weeks. Don't trust the spark alone. Sit down with understanding. Write it, test its edges, ask what it really solves. Then engage knowledge. Tie the idea to your values and your emotions so you actually act on it. Call the person, ship the draft, change the habit. In relationships, lead with loving kindness. Notice, listen, offer. But bring strength so your yes means yes and your no protects what matters. Let beauty guide you to compassionate truth, not flattery, not cruelty, but the healing word at the right time. In work and calling, choose victory. Start the thing, then stay with it past the dip. Pair it with splendor through daily gratitude. Keep a humble record of help and grace. Channel the energy in foundation. Build bonds, keep commitments, elevate desire into devotion. And then wear kingship lightly but firmly. Show up, be responsible, and turn ideals into outcomes others can feel. As you practice, you'll notice a quiet delight begin to suffuse your days and a steady will aligning your choices. That's the transcendent pair joining the symphony. None of this is abstract for abstraction's sake. It's a way to locate yourself. When you're scattered, you can ask, am I missing structure? When you're cold, you can ask, where's my compassion? When you're permissive, you can ask, where's my strength? When you're stalled, you can ask, where's my initiative? When you're proud, you can ask, where's my gratitude? When you're fragmented, you can ask, where's my bonding? When you're all talk, you can ask, where's my action? And when you hit those rare hours where all 10 sing together, insight alive, understanding clear, knowledge connected, kindness warm, discipline wise, compassion radiant, initiative steady, humility grateful, bonding faithful, action royal, you will feel what the sages meant by making this world a dwelling for the divine. Not by escaping life, but by elevating it. Not by denying your powers, but by directing them. You don't need permission to begin. Start with the next small act of loving kindness. Protect it with a wise boundary. Beautify it with compassion. Initiate, persist, and give thanks. Channel your energy into covenant. Then put on kingship and do the next right thing. That single sequence will beautify a moment, then a day, then a life. And little by little, you will discover you haven't just learned about the tree of life. You've eaten of it, you've grown from it, and you're offering its fruit to others. If this spoke to you, share it with someone who needs strength with kindness or action with humility. And let me know below which power you're practicing this week. I'm rooting for your victories with splendor.